way that the universe just and God just puts people in your path, just like, okay, now you guys are ready for each other, right? Like you guys are on
What
this
does he
path.
call it? Sorry to interrupt. He calls it
Okay.
being available.
Yes.
It's saying no to a lot of things to create space and availability for yes.
Yeah.
I used to. I'm coming up on 4 years. I don't drink or do drugs. Before that, I was so busy having fun, living life, thinking that it was the best thing in the world. I didn't have time to meet Shawnee. I didn't have time to say, I want to come see your kids. I want to come see your family. Because the second I would be in Florida, it was party time.
Yeah.
Now it's like, dude, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be present.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, The Determined Society. Man, I got a special treat with you here today. I just spent about 20 minutes talking to my boy before we hit record. I'm like, well, shit, man, we better go and hit that button just so the audience gets the most value out of this episode. We want to save some for you guys. Before I get into introducing my guest, if you could, go ahead and subscribe to the show and leave a written review and show some love. I want to hear what you think about the show. But I'll get into today's guest. Today, I have with me someone amazing. I call him the Big Siegel because we know a lot of Siegels, but he is the Big Siegel. He's chuckling on the other end here because it's a little inside joke. But, you know, this gentleman went from childhood abuse to a multi-million-dollar CEO of a big IT firm. He is a future author coming up soon, and a future podcast host coming up soon. And we'll get into all that. But hey, today, welcome my boy Kelly Siegel to the show. What's up, man?
Well, no knock on to Little Siegel, our boy Craig, but yeah, it's funny how the universe aligns and gets people together, and I'm absolutely honored to be here, and I appreciate it, Shawn, and yeah, we could talk for days, which. Yeah, you know, we made plans to meet up in Florida, and I can't wait to meet you and the family and in person. So this is the beginning of a long-lasting friendship and relationship, and I'm looking forward to helping you and giving back in any way, shape, or form. So fire away, buddy.
I appreciate that, man. It's great to have you on the show. I know that you know, we were supposed to meet. For those of you listening, he had a little hurricane things he needed to tie up because he's one of those things we call snowbirds. So he wasn't here during the hurricane. He came back down last week and we were supposed to link up, but I got a little too busy for him, and that's okay. But you know, next week it'll be on and we'll get to see each other in person. And you're right though, man. You know, the way things come together, the way we all come into each other's paths, it's you know, it's really amazing because we met through another group, and dude, you just bring a lot of loving energy to the world, and I had to have you on. So, you know, it's my pleasure.
Well, I tell you, I'm just grateful to be here and grateful to be in Florida. It is snowing. I'm in Michigan today. It is snowing like crazy today. It is freezing cold. And I'm wondering, as you see the tan, I'm wondering I'm rethinking all my thoughts of why am I here?
Yeah, I mean, like seriously. I mean, but for those of you that are not watching, you know, watch this on video. My man's wearing a V-neck, a short sleeve V-neck, and it's snowing in Detroit, and I'm in Florida, and I have a long sleeve shirt on, rolled up with the cuffs. It's like we are switched here. But no, man. I mean, I've never been to Michigan.
Well, you're not missing much.
Are you a Lions fan?
Shut it.
But are you?
A brutal Lions fan.
Oh, man.
We grew up watching it. It is absolutely, you know, my boy Jason Waller is probably the only person that is more of a Lions fan than I am. But I had season tickets in the family for over 50 years. They literally raised the ticket prices when we went 0-16, 25%. I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
Wow.
It is brutal, but as much as you try to be Lions free, we're still rooting for him. It's the ultimate underdog story, man.
It's the
world is against them. It's against, and they'll eventually figure it out.
Dude, it's funny. Like, do you like hold any, I guess, animosity to the fact that, you know, your quarterback fucking leaves and then year one wins a fucking Super Bowl?
Well, it happened to Justin Verlander too. So
yeah, it did.
You know, we went on an impressive run in the early 2000s where the Red Wings were winning, the Tigers were winning, the Pistons won. So we were very lucky. So did it stink? I was very happy for Matt Stafford
Of
to
course.
get out and win. Now it looks like it's funny. We just talked about the universe and how it works out. So he's hurt and they're on the decline. It looks like the Lions are going to pass him. So it could be a win-win where they won the Super Bowl last year. They're going to tank this year and we got a high draft pick and then it
Yeah.
works out. It's
Yeah.
nice to see a win-win-win. But yeah, it's brutal to watch. As much as I try to be Lions free and not watch it. I get sucked in and I watch them, and I'm a diehard. But I said that, you know, when they do ultimately make the Super Bowl, which they will one day,
Of course they will,
in my life, I'll be there with bells on, rooting them on. But
I'll make this commitment with you. I'll go with you when they make it.
Yeah, we could be in London. Who knows?
Yeah, we could be. It's crazy because I remember, like, you know, growing up. I mean, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay. I'm a Niners fan. It would always bother me when the Niners had to play the Lions because Barry Sanders was so flippin' good.
Bro, you got to remember, we literally retired early. The arguably two of the best, one of the best running backs and one of the best receivers to ever play the game. They retired early rather than just to keep playing for this franchise. So it says a lot. But you know what? That's the definition of you know, you're a shameless plug is the name of my book and the name of my podcast, Harder Than Life.
Yes.
And it's the people that, and the organizations that persevere through against all odds, that just stay the course and keep plugging away. And if you look at Dan Campbell, that guy keeps a positive attitude when everything is doom and gloom. And if everybody did that, this country would be a lot better place.
Yeah, I mean, we can go like on a trilogy on that statement right there. That could be like 3 fucking podcasts, man. I mean, like seriously, like this country would be a better place if, I think everybody in this country can literally write down 1,000 different fill in the blanks to that one, right? I think the biggest one is compassion and empathy, right? And being able to, just like you said, like Dan Campbell, to push through the adversity.
Compassion's a big one, man. I have it up in my bathroom where I look at it every day. I can't remember who did it. It was one of Sadhguru's or somebody saying it's love everybody and tell the truth. And it's literally what I live by. Love everybody and tell the truth. I was just going to say to you, compassion and love is very important, but telling the truth is up there too. And really the truth to yourself. If you think about it, it's, oh, I'm going to start this diet tomorrow. Oh, I'm going to make another sales call when I feel better. It's just that, what do they say? You fall to your daily habits, not rise to your training. So you can see it here. If you're those that are watching, everything with me is consistency, man. Discipline and consistency daily. And then it's funny, the harder you work for the longer you work, the luckier you get.
Well, it's like compounding result, right? It's just like interest. Like it's like if you go out in sprints and you're super intense out the gate, you're going to get those results a little bit quicker. But you may burn out a little bit quicker too. But if we're consistent over time, right? Small actions, compound, result, bang, there's the breakthrough. That's the thing that people talk about. Like, oh yeah, it only took me 15 years to be an overnight success.
I've been in business for 25 years, and this is the first year that we've actually really, really won. I mean, we kicked butt and took names, and it took, we're overnight success after 25 years.
So that's amazing. It's amazing. And it just says a lot about you as a person, but because you've been through that adversity in your life as a child, right? So you know what it is to persevere through things and come out of it. A lot of people and a lot of business owners would sit there and say, all right, 24 years in, this shit ain't working. Let's cut bait. Let's go do something else. And then they would have broken through on year 25.
Yeah. What do they say? Night is darkest just before dawn.
Well, that's good news over here, man, because some days it feels like I'm in a fucking foxhole, man.
Keep plugging, bro, because I tell you, I just put a post on this. And I think you saw it, but I heard this twice, and I'm going to butcher it, but I'm going to get to the. It's if they drain Lake Michigan, down. And they started filling it up of the law of doubles. I think it's called the Monroe effect or something. So
Mm-hmm.
you put 1 ounce in one day, 2 ounces the next day, 4 ounces, and you did that every single day. It would take 85 years to fill it back up. But after 10 years, it would be just puddles of water on the floor, on the base.
Mm-hmm.
After, I think it's 60 years, it would be 5 feet deep. After 80 years, there still would be 6 to 10 feet that need to go fill to the top. So the moral of the story is it's the very end where you make the most gains, and you gotta believe you're making invisible progress every day, and just don't give up.
Invisible progress.
It's tough.
That's fucking big. I've never heard that one before.
Well, you've been Siegel.
You got moth. It's now called the Siegel. No, that's a really good one, man, because I think that a lot of times with individuals, whether it's fitness, whether it's, business, a sales, any type of job, or even in a relationship you're trying to get better in, right? It's like you don't see that progress every single day. But what I'm hearing you say is you have to have faith that there's that invisible progress being made. That's awesome.
I listened to a lot. You know what got me started in this whole personal development was I read all of John Gordon's books, and he always says it really well. Faith over fear. Most people are governed by fear. Mm-hmm. Both of them are in the future. It's future and hasn't happened yet. So if you can decide in one, let's believe faithfully that good things are going to happen. And the funny thing about it is when something bad happens, and you hear this all through personal development, well, it's happening for you, not to you. So I can look back on my life, and everything bad that happened was pointing me in the right direction. I mean, the success that I'm feeling now is from day one of the pandemic. March 20th, 2020, Michigan shut down. I revamped the company with a team. We put in EOS. I tripled down on personal development, started reading extra, meditating, doing it just took things to the crazy level while everybody was drinking and using it as a reason to sit home and we don't have to work. I doubled down on the company, on my personal development. 3 years later, boom, like overnight freaking fixed. And now I just coming up. My birthday's coming up on Thanksgiving.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we're going to have a little fun down in Florida. So I just had the best year of my life, personally and professionally. And next year's going to be even better. And I don't even mind putting that out in the universe because I know my daily habits, my daily freaking motivations, my daily intentions are so in line that there is just no way for me not to take the next step. And as you know, I got a podcast launching, got a book coming out. I still got a successful company in cybersecurity that's nationally known. And my whole intention is to just help people.
Dude, that's amazing because, we talk about the pandemic and that's when you double down on yourself. Dude, that's when this podcast was created. That's when I began my journey. And it's funny because our boy Craig, that's when he started his, and here you are. This is when you started. It's funny the way that the universe and God just puts people in your path. Just like, okay, now you guys are ready for each other. Right? Like you guys are on this path.
What does he call it? Sorry to interrupt. He calls it being available. It's saying no to a lot of things to create space and availability for yes. Yeah. I used to, I'm coming up on 4 years. I don't drink or do drugs. Before that, I was so busy having fun, living life, thinking that it was the best thing in the world. I didn't have time to meet Shawnee. I didn't have time to say, I want to come see your kids. I want to come see your family because the second I would be in Florida, it was party time. Yeah, now it's like, dude, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be present. I'm going to be playing with your daughters. I'm going to be wanting to freaking throw the football with your son. It's just life. It works out for you, and you guys got to make good choices. And I spent so much of my youth, not even youth, man. I'll be 47. So take away 4 years, that's 43. I don't feel like I started living till I was 43. I used to run around drinking, going, "Who lives better than us?" Well, everybody. I've done some crazy things. I went to Copenhagen, Thailand, and I was at the full moon party twice. I've met celebrities. I've done everything you could possibly do drunk. And I remember half of it.
Half of it.
Now I'm sober and I live every life. I get out on my boat in the ocean. And by the way, all my Florida house was bought and paid for with alcohol because I quit alcohol. And what do you know? I have all this extra money that I put towards a house in Florida. Now I do a ton of business in Florida. I've met a bunch of friends down there that only know me as being sober. And life is great. And even though the hurricane comes through, it's just like the hurricane coming through. Dude, I would come down, I'd get on the boat, go to Fort Myers Beach, look, see how riffraffy is, see people puking at the freaking Lani Kai. It was just disgusting.
Lani
And
Kai's
you
a
know what?
shithole.
The universe comes through and cleans it up. I feel terrible for businesses, but they will come back bigger,
They will.
better, stronger. So as you live in day tight compartments, the next day is a better day and a better day, and you build on that. And in a year or two, when Fort Myers Beach is rebuilt, well, you and I will be saying, there, remember we were on that podcast and we were laughing about it, and look how beautiful this place is now. And that's what's the American dream. We come back stronger, better, and hopefully together. You know, I don't want to make it a political podcast, but man, this left and the right, and no matter where you're at, we're all part of the same airplane or same bird, and we need both wings to fly. So why are we trying to crash this plane? I don't get it.
Man, I love where you're going with all of this. There's so many great things in that whole fucking monologue there. First and foremost, I want to acknowledge the whole fact of, Fort Myers Beach in a year or two, right? It's going to be built up like a Clearwater beach. It's going to be the most beautiful fucking thing ever. And that is just like when you are torn down to the studs as a person, because I've been there, right? You're torn down to the studs, you're completely destroyed, and it takes time. And you think, man, this is the worst thing. My life is done. And then slowly you start to come out of it. You start to build a little bit and more and more and more. And then boom, you look around, or I look around, and it's like, the fuck, man, like I did this in the last 5 years. I haven't even stopped to fucking like acknowledge what happened, right? Like the house that my children live in, like all that kind of stuff. It's like, and it's the same thing with other catastrophic things. Like it will all get better. And I feel terrible for the people that lost their lives, for the people that lost their homes. And that is something that I mourn for that every single day, because I see it still. I see the piles of shit everywhere.
Oh man, it was horrible.
It's everywhere still, but the reality of it is those people on the beach are going to come back even bigger, badder, and stronger, because that's what we do here. And as far as America, we are too dumb to see past our fucking noses. It's like, oh, I'm pro Biden, so fuck you, Trump. I'm Trump, but fuck you, Biden. And the left and the right, and everybody's fighting. What they don't understand is they're taking their hands and ripping into the heart and soul of America and ripping it out and stomping on it. Because, like you said, it takes both wings to fly this plane. And if we don't come together, it's just going to get worse.
Well, here's what we forget. And first and foremost, nothing gets solved without communication. Mm-hmm. So, and then when you communicate, we all too often we talk to convince instead of listen and be heard. And then on top of it, we need to start with what we agree on, not what we disagree on. So what do we all agree on in America? We all want America to prosper. We all want to be the leaders in technology, in education, in be the best country. And let's start there and work our way backwards. And we'll find that the things that we disagree on are infantile, are smaller. And then if we just focused on those things, I don't think anybody in this country wants to give handouts to anybody.
No,
Work works.
No.
I think even the people that need assistance are like, hey man, I want to work. I want to feel, I refuse to believe anybody is lazy. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't think that that's the American way. So if we just focused on what we actually agree on and work outside from there, and all it's going to be is, okay, how do we get there? And that's probably what we differ on, is how do we get the American dream? And some people are going to say, hey man, you grin and bear it, and you pin your ears back and you go do it. Some people are going to go, hey, we need to share, we need to give, we need to do.
Yeah.
However we do it, let's just do it.
Yeah. Let's
And
figure
it
it
starts
out.
with communication and talking, not
Yeah.
disparagement and screw you and cancel culture and
Oh, the cancel culture.
yelling at each other. And it is,
Yeah.
ooh, that's too much.
I mean, again, dude, like we're on this now, and I want to shift gears after this, but it started with COVID. It was one of the very first things on a global level that was happening, and that the United States of America could display their difference of opinions, and it spiraled out of control. Like I mean, it was bad. It was like mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine. It's like, dude, do whatever. I mean, fuck, do you, man? Like, I feel it was like the opening, right? I mean, 2 years later, it's the fight's still going on. Like you've got the left fighting, or fighting with the right fighting with the left. It's like, guys, listen, okay, it is what it is right now. Okay, like you two groups right here that want to keep causing that division and that turmoil and the toxicity, like, bro, it's y'all's fault.
Well, the scarier thing about it, Shawnee, is the censorship that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The people that think that believe social media is everything. You know what?
Yep.
Social media is programmed to feed you what you already know. And if you
Yeah.
think that that's the truth, and then man, you might be part of the problem.
Yeah.
It is, those algorithms to keep feeding you things to sell you things.
Mm-hmm.
Realize that there's a whole nother world out there. I make sure and I listen to other podcasts that maybe not look at the world like I do. I don't keep feeding myself with the same stuff, because I'm not. I'm the first to admit I'm not always right, man. I make mistakes. Like, I'm human, and I want to see from other people's perspectives.
Absolutely.
Where I'm always going to draw the line is I don't believe in victim mentality. I just don't.
No.
If I believed in that, I would still be a poor kid in South Warren, Michigan, or dead or in jail like most of my high school friends. And I just refuse to allow that.
Yeah, man.
There's so much more to life. Life is what you make it. So, that's just the shameless plug of just don't believe everything you see and hear. I mean, I tried to Google a couple of the proposals here in Michigan, and they just fed you what they wanted you to hear. You couldn't get the real truth.
Yep.
That's not America.
Mm-mm.
It's people gotta. I mean, when we had the pandemic, they should have shut down social media. We should have a button that says, hey, we can't disseminate. Because think of all the, remember when they said for a hot minute that you had to wipe down your Amazon packages? You couldn't go to the grocery store. I laughed so hard. I go, if whatever this virus is, it can be on cardboard,
we're fucked.
Dead.
Yeah, we're fucked.
Dead.
We're fucked. Like,
Because if it's
this
that
is like
deadly,
anthrax. This is like anthrax. You are fucked.
And you know what? I got a news flash, man. There's a thing. Was it Memento Mori, man? We're all gonna die.
Yeah.
I got a news flash. We're all gonna die. So, and if people says, "Oh, we only live once," no, you live every day. We're gonna die once. So live every day.
Love it.
And if the universe says it's our time, it's our time.
It's a good point. It's funny because I'm sitting here talking about time and like things coming in alignment. Like, when I asked you to come on the podcast, is because I just loved your energy, and like we have had conversation. Like, dude, this would be a fucking badass show. It's going to be very dynamic. We're going to exchange energies. It's one of your favorite things to say. It's going to be amazing. But I didn't realize at the time that it was super timely. You were literally, your book's coming out in January called Harder Than Life. And then you have a podcast that you're launching as well, coming out in January, Harder Than Life. Like, dude, let's talk about the book. Let's talk about the podcast. Let's let everybody know about this thing.
Yeah, it's different, Shawn. I own an IT company, National Technology Management, and during the pandemic, I decided to write a book, and it was supposed to be for cathartic. It was just, hey, let me get these thoughts out of my head, and I want to legitimize. I made a lot of money with buddies from drinking, and since I quit drinking, I lost a couple of customers, lost a bunch of friends, and I said, I got to get this out of my head and onto paper. And in the process of writing this book, my publisher said, this is fire. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I pay you to say. And they're like,
Ah.
no, no. They're like, everybody that's read this is like, you've got to do something with this. So then I read it after it was done and went, oh, okay. So there was some real vulnerable things, and it was hard. There's some things in there that are just going to disgust you about how my family, my mother and my stepfather treated me. It's just disgusting. Some of the things are just wrong. But you know what? Uh, they did the best they could, and I forgive them. And it took a lot of therapy and a lot of work. And really, the final straw was during the pandemic. Is I hit a wall, and I just sat there, and I found this hypnotherapist, and I did this hypnotherapy over Zoom, and it was the final thing that pulled everything out of me, and I finally stopped sabotaging my life. It started with quitting the alcohol, and then I had all these feelings. I'm like, what are these feelings? And you remember, I was a functioning drunk. And I say drunk because I believe an alcoholic, and I'm not trying to knock Alcoholic Anonymous. I just was I quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
And just one day I was in Key West on New Year's 1/1/19, and I said, I'm done. I toasted New Year's, set it down, and then walked away. And that's it. I haven't picked it up since. So if I was powerless over alcohol, then I wouldn't have been able to do that. So I started feeling feelings of that I'd never felt before. And I'm like, what is this? And after processing them and going through it, I realized I needed to take the next step. And then I wrote a book about it. And it was just all about, I just didn't feel like I was loved. I didn't feel like I was lovable. So I drank. Everybody loved drunk Kelly. I was the life of the party, and I was entertaining.
I can see how you would be. I can see how you would be the life of the party.
Oh, funny story. So I bought a house in Florida, and I was on a boat with my builder, and they're all having fun and drinking, and we're coming back in, and the music's playing, and I'm dancing and bouncing around on their boat, and I'm with somebody, and the builder looks over and goes, if this is how he is sober, how was he drunk? You don't want to know. So, you know what? It's just being honest and vulnerable and realizing that there's a good story here. My mother and my stepfather were physically, emotionally abusive. They were alcoholics. I don't say this to anybody feel bad. I just want them to understand that I am truly harder than life. I mean, my mom, the thing she did is, you'll read about in the book. The thing she did, she stabbed my stepfather. It was insanity.
Jesus, it's like the 8 Mile over there.
Bro, this is where I went to high school off of 8 Mile. We went to high school with Eminem. Eminem was in it literally was. That movie was very much like our life.
Wow.
And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to get it. And you know what? The truth is, when I graduated high school, all my friends went to work. I just wasn't ready to work. I wanted to go party, and I wanted to go see the world. So I went to Western Michigan University, joined a fraternity, and went, oh, there's a whole nother world out here. Kalamazoo, Michigan is in between Chicago and Detroit. So then I'd go to Chicago all the time, like, oh my God, there's so much more out of this world. I want to go have fun. And boy, did I. Like attracts like. I was a drunken slut, and boy, did I freaking attract everything that walked into life. It was fun while it lasted, but now I'm living the best life in congruency. I love looking in the mirror. You listen to Eric Thomas. He says, get out of the window and look into the mirror. And I hated who I was in the mirror when I was drinking. And even, I'm not talking about it didn't have to be drunk. I'd look, my face was blotchy. I'd make stupid decisions. I wasn't congruent. I wasn't authentic. I would make excuses, and I'd miss a sales meeting. I'd miss a sale, and because I'd say something stupid because I was hungover. Luckily, I was a good dad, and truthfully, I had a kid when I was 32, and that saved my life. It gave me the reason to at least slow down. And then at 43, I quit, and now now the sky's the limit. I'm just gonna give back, and there's no animosity to my childhood, and there's a lot of stories that I look back on my stepfather, who was just, nothing was ever good enough for him. He made me a man. He made me a man. He made me a tough mother scratcher. The reason if you see me on video, I'm a big boy. I'm 5'9", 220 pounds of muscle. The reason why I'm this is because my stepfather was 6'2", 265 pounds, and always wanted to beat me up, and literally damn near killed me several times. Both of them damn near killed me. Well, guess what? I'm big. Nobody's ever going to put their hands on me ever again, and nobody ever has since. So it's a great icebreaker that I walk in. Damn, you're a big boy. I have these 22-inch arms, and it's like people are like, whoa, and I'm the nicest guy in the world. I'm going to avoid. You could never make me angry. I'm never going to get mad. I'm never going to get violent. It's just not going to happen. So
it's amazing, man. It's amazing.
And you know what? Once you give up that chip on your shoulder, and once you really look at yourself and stop sabotaging yourself, life gets ridiculously good. Monday, I wake up in Florida, beautiful home on the water, jump on a plane, first class, home to Michigan, come home, pick up my daughter. I get to sleep in a beautiful home in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Life is great. I'm grateful, but it's from the choices I've made that allowed me to do this. I didn't get here by winning a quiz show. Now, is somebody looking out for me? Yes. I have been in some drunken, crazy, rager freaking situations that I probably shouldn't have lived through. There's been times I still struggle a little bit with my birthday. My mom, when I was 8 years old, beat the living crap out of me on my birthday. She was drunk. She didn't know. Hey, man, it's tough, but it was happening for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not sitting here asking for sympathy. And it's not easy to say those things, but I'm getting better and better and better with it. So people understand I'm not sitting over here putting on a front. I'm not putting on fake. This really happened. And and there's more stories. And I'll get into them, and they're in the book. I don't want to steal everything, but when my podcast,
I want to read it
the same as yours, we're going to wrap with people, and we're going to talk about how people exemplify harder than life capabilities. I'm big on the no drinking and no drugs. I think that we lean on these as crutches way too often. I did it. I thought I had it under control, and little did I know I wasn't living, and I was masking something. That's what they are. It's alcohol, sex, drugs, even cannabis. If you're going to choose one or the other, though, man, take cannabis. Ain't nobody getting arrested for drunk driving. You're not beating your wife. At least you're going to get hungry. And you're going to think spiritually. But I'm big into my daily routines, my daily habits. You know, I do everything that probably you do. And I win from it. You know, meditation, workouts. You see my videos I post at 4:30 in the morning. I'm at the gym at 4:30 every day. I don't take any days off. Once in a blue moon on the travel days from Florida to Michigan, I get a little slammed because I land and I got to go to work. Other than that, man, day in, day out, trying to get a little bit better every single day. I love meeting new people. I mean, Shawnee, we're going to have a good time together.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait to see you next week. It's like next
it's going to be fun.
It's gonna be great. We're actually doing Thanksgiving on Friday, so like Wednesday or Thursday, bro. Like, you know, or Friday. Fuck, I don't give a shit. Like, I'll make sure I have enough food. So
how things work out too is there were 3 houses in a row that were built in Florida, and I got to pick the house. I picked the middle one. So somebody on the one side of me is from Minnesota, Midwest, awesome. People on the other side of me, downriver Michigan, moves in. They've become family. We do everything together.
That's incredible.
Her name is Kelly. She's awesome. It's just everything in my life works out. I call myself the chosen one. I'm Jewish. Jesus was Jewish. Hey, I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but you don't see me in us in the same room, you know?
No, exactly. No, man, I truly love the story. And I can't wait to read the book, man. I need a signed copy, obviously. But I'm excited to sit down and read it and, you know, listen to your podcast and really dive into it, because you've shown a completely whole different dynamic. I mean, I already knew you were a great person. We were already friends, but you know, there's some things here that I'm listening to that I could truly benefit from. Like, I don't meditate. Like I'm gonna tell you something, dude. Like, the worst part about me is my mind does not stop ever. Like, ever. It is disgusting. It is my biggest strength and my biggest Achilles heel. More so the latter, right? So if I'm even sitting there in bed Where waking up, my mind is never not on. It just goes and goes and goes and goes. And so it physically exhausts me.
I've been there, done that, man. And I don't, I was talking to literally somebody an hour ago, and they're like, "Oh, it's the best thing in the world." I'm like, it's really not. Your mind needs to have a break as well,
It's a
because it
prison.
affects your sleep,
Yep.
it affects your focus. So, nothing works for everybody. There's it may work, it may not, but I would definitely try it. I use the Calm app, and I do a guided 10 minutes at least. I do notice I struggle too, because my mind's shutting off. I'm constantly thinking about how can I amp up this progress? How can I do more at NTM? How can I serve more? How can I be a better father? What can I do to be a better American? What can I do to be just better at everything I do? So if I do, when I meditate, I don't feel the effects, but what I don't feel is also I don't feel discombobulated, and I don't feel off. If I miss it for a day, which I haven't in a long time, over 60 days, I think, I'm sure, because the app tells you how many days in a row you do. If I miss it that day, I feel off.
Yeah.
But do I feel great while I'm doing it? No, some days it's hard. I
Yeah.
do see that when I do it for longer than the 10 minutes, I get a benefit. You just kind of shut that brain off, and the whole concept of doing that is like working out. It's you're working your brain muscle, and it just gives you a little bit of time to focus. Now, I also journal. So if the meditation doesn't work for you, try the journaling. A lot of the journaling just gets out of my head into
Yeah.
something, so you can just go to sleep. The only thing I still absolutely 110% struggle with is my sleep. I sleep
Really?
six hours max, and even then it's interrupted. I'm 47. I get up in the middle of the night to pee. No matter
Yeah.
what doctors I've gone to, I get up, and if I could just sleep 7 hours straight, I think that literally I would take over the world. But
Yeah.
but as far as stress and worry, I don't have any of that. And
That's
fear,
awesome, dude.
I fear nothing. Usually you'll see me with a hat. I don't, we're not in control. Like, surrender and allow the universe to give you its gifts. And you do most of that. I would tell you to try the journaling and try the meditating and see what happens. It's not for everybody, but
I do the journaling. It's funny because like I never have a hard time falling asleep. Like I'll fall asleep. Like my wife will make a joke. Like I think my husband is narcoleptic. He falls asleep all the time when we're watching TV. I'm like, it's fucking 11. I'm falling asleep. I wake up at 4. So like I'm gonna fall asleep.
but wait a
Right?
minute, hold on. That's only 5 hours of sleep. Are you
Yeah, I
still
don't get enough
sleep?
sleep. I'll get enough sleep.
Oh.
I'll get enough sleep. Mm-mm.
Well, then we're brothers from another
Yeah,
mother.
no shit, dude.
I
Like
just,
we're
my problem is if I could sleep if there were 7 hours of sleep, I woke up 6 hours on the nose every time.
I think it was the other night I slept for 8 hours,
Oh,
but I was sick. I'm
oh.
sick. So it was like I didn't feel great when I woke up. I still don't feel great. Like I feel like absolute garbage right now. So I'm like hoping tonight or tomorrow I can feel better, because I want.
If you you ever read any of Joe Dispenza's work, How You
No.
Manifest? So he believes that you can breathe into these sickness. And I'm not kidding you. Last night I tried it. I had a little stomach ache. I went out to dinner, and then I had to go visit some friends. I felt all day yesterday I was off. So I pulled over and I just did some breathing into my stomach. I felt better. I woke up today. I was right as the weather.
Interesting.
I don't. So many people claim it. I do it just because I steal things from everybody.
I think it's a good thing. Like it's like a puzzle. You put
Well,
the
try
pieces
that
where it
Calm app, because
yeah.
you have it's a daily Calm. This lady comes on for 10 minutes and guides you through it, and I see the benefits.
Cool.
I'm reading Jay Shetty's book right now, and he's if you followed any of his
I
stuff,
have it. I
it
haven't
was
read
it
it
Think
yet.
Like a Monk? No,
Think
that was
like a
his
monk.
old one. Like,
I
he's
have
got
to think. I think like a monk. I'm looking at it right now.
yeah, that's what I'm reading right now, and he lives it. Then they got the Daily J where he does 7. That guy's just brilliant.
Yeah, no, he's next level brilliant. He's
Well, I mean, he
scary.
went to be a monk
Yeah,
for 3 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the
some next
sign for me
level
to
stuff.
actually pick up that book. Full disclosure, I started reading it 10 pages in and I'm like, yeah, I can't do it.
Really?
Because not because it was bad. So Jay, like he's actually fucking listening to this, right? But it's not because I didn't like it. It's because it was forcing me to realize that I needed to slow my mind down. I couldn't do it. So I was like, my mind was in 17 different places when I was reading that book. It's nuts. So anyway.
Shawn, you're onto something right there. You meditation and reading. So I have no problem falling asleep. I just have a problem staying asleep and then sleeping more than 6 hours.
Gotcha.
And I'll figure that out. But you know what? That's the only thing. I caffeine up. I live and die by coffee.
Mm-hmm.
At
Love
any
it.
given time, you'll see me with tons and tons of coffee. But I eat
You always
well. I
drink coffee
train,
in your videos.
dude. I wake up and the first thing in the morning, I got to get things off my mind.
Yeah.
Life's good. I'm excited to see what's next. Every single day, I'm excited and grateful.
Yeah, man.
It's just being present is everything. All you can control is right here, right now. If I worry about tomorrow, it isn't going to help it. If I freaking have regret from it, it's not going to change it. It's right here and right now, and just being who you really are and meaning what you say. I live and die by the 4 agreements. If you haven't read that, I highly suggest you read that. That's my mantra book. And I read at least 10 to 30 pages a day because I want to feed my mind.
That's good, man. That's a good one. Look, dude, we're going to land the plane here, right? I can talk with you all day, but they'll probably turn it off and it wouldn't come back to it. But let me ask you 2 more questions, man. One, what can my audience do to best support you?
Well, we go to Instagram, follow me on Instagram. We got some great postings, some great content. It's Kelly.Siegel. That's spelled SIEGEL.71. And we got harderthanlife.com. Go over there. When it's out, it'll be all over social media. The book's fire, man. It's not like anything else that you've ever read. It's raw. It's real. It happened. I've given my email address if anybody wants to reach out to me. I want to be available because, frankly, Shawn, we talked about this before. What I'm doing is I'm not doing this for the money, so to speak. I want to give back to charity. A portion of every single dollar I bring in from Harder Than Life is going to charity. I grew up poor and I'm underprivileged, and I want to give back so other kids won't have that issue. So portion of every dollar goes right to charity. I will be posting all that stuff every year for the rest of my life. It's my purpose, not my passion, is to give back. And I'm going to have fun doing it, man. And I'm going to help a lot of people. A lot of people reach out to me for the alcohol. I struggle with that because I just walked away, but hey, I'm going to help however I can.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. I appreciate people like you that, want to help and give back so other people don't have that struggle or at least they have some assistance while going through that struggle. So
you're not alone. Nobody's alone.
No, absolutely not. And it's funny because I'll say this and then I'll get to my final question is you are just like me. I give out my personal information more than anybody that I know. I think, and people always like, why are you giving people your cell number? I'm like, fucking why not? What am I doing this for? If I don't give out my personal number, if I don't give out my email, then I'm kind of leading the wrong way here. Like I'm doing this because I want people to contact me, and that's not going to change.
Google me really easily and you're going to get it anyways. Cause I've been doing this for 25 years and this thing, I had a conversation with Howard Schultz from Starbucks and he was the same way. Literally just found him called him and he's like, Kelly, I want to talk to you.
No shit.
His best advice was roll out EOS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable. Well, listen, man, what can I do to best support you?
Man, just your friendship and your love and your support. I was actually going to ask you the same thing because I want to make sure, and I'm going to put this out there. I want to make sure you come on my podcast so I can support you.
That'd be great.
Give back and just have some good chocolate cake for when I come down to Florida next week because I'm a chocolate junkie and I'll share it with your kids.
Are you related to me? Like seriously, fucking
my brother
from
chocolate
in my face. I'm done. I am done when you throw chocolate cake in my face. You know that that one, the fucking PF Chang's. They got that big piece of chocolate cake.
It's a Great Wall of Chocolate.
Oh my God.
My daughter and I, you can look at my postings. We get that and go to town on it.
Dude, that thing, oh my God. That thing is so good.
That thing down like it's
my job. Oh, I love it. Well, dude, I love you. And you heard it, guys. He did give his Instagram handle, but don't worry. It'll be in the show notes, so you can go and click on it, and it'll take you right to his link so you can connect with him and have some fellowship with him and exchange energies. And don't forget to go to harderthanlife.com, pick up that book, listen to the podcast. And with that being said, Kelly, my man, thank you so much, bro.
Hey, enjoy the daughters this afternoon, buddy.
Absolutely, my man. Peace.
Talk to you.
Dude.